102.5 FM.
And we welcome you in on a Monday installment of the program. You know, our Mondays are always brought to you by our friends at The Best Bet. Well, guess what? Big news from The Best Bet. Bad beat jackpots are now uncapped. Win big at the tables at all three Best Bet locations. That's Jacksonville. That is here on Monument Road, very close to where we are right now. St. Augustine, just off the highway, and, of course, in Orange Park on State Road 17. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon on location. J.J. LaSelva back at World Headquarters. We're at Jacksonville University as JU plays in the first round of the Atlantic Sun Tournament. They get a home game by being the 4th seed. They play Eastern Kentucky, the 5th seed. Both teams 12-6 in the league. We'll tell you about that coming up in just a bit. But we love being out here. We love being at Cantina Rio, sort of our home away from home. We get out here. You know, we thought about going right there next to the arena. People are walking in, but we're bar guys.
That's right.
When you're a bar guy, you're a bar guy.
Yeah,
you got to know who you are, Hayes.
That's right.
Got to know who you are. So we're glad you're with us today. Love basketball, love postseason basketball, and love it when JU or UNF are in the postseason. We're certainly happy to be here. We'll talk a little bit about Gator basketball coming up in a bit. We are 1 week away, my operatives tell me, from legal tampering. And so, man, I got here quick. It just got here quick. Maybe it's because it took the Jags a while to get everybody hired. Man, you blinked. We're at 7 days from free agents. You're going to be seeing Ian Rappaport report that Joe Blow just is going to sign with the Bengals for $8 trillion. I mean, we're a week away from that.
Yeah, it's here. And, again, that's why it was so important for them to get the hires made and start forming a plan. And now we'll see if they were able to have enough time to go out and execute it. I mean, money talks, so I think you can – certainly the key is just making sure you make the right identification on a player that's going to come in and help you. I mean, once you've done that, the money is going to be the money. You're either going to have the most money and you're going to get the player in the Jaguars case, or you're not, because I don't think anybody's going to sign with the Jaguars for less money they could get somewhere else. No one's looking to ring chase here. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see. And again, the first real indication of how Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli want this roster to look like in 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, I think so too. So it's about to happen. We're excited about it. And again, it's getting there fast, man. I mean, you looked up and all of a sudden we are there, and all of a sudden, just like that, it's legal tampering right around the corner. So I'm looking forward to that. It's I love it. I love this time of year. I love it for basketball. I love it for football. The NFL is really never out of season, right? Which is kind of a cool thing. So we'll certainly talk about that today on the program. Jordan Mincy's getting his team ready, but Mike Fly, the lead assistant here, will join us momentarily and talk just a little bit about tonight's game, what to expect from Eastern Kentucky, what the matchups look like, how do you go about them. Mike's also sort of the offensive coordinator of the JU basketball team, so we'll certainly talk about that coming up today as well. We will not have Rumble 3. I don't know if you followed the UNF game last night at all.
Shocking.
I watched the first half, and I watched a little bit of the second half, but it was shocking, and it's happened unfortunately too many times to the UNF basketball team. Because I really said all along, I thought no one would want to play them. They would be the team that you didn't want to have to play, because when they get those threes going, they're almost unbeatable. Hayes, the game started 10-2. They got off to a 10-2 lead. Now you know how that works. You play at the top seeds, in their case, the top seeds arena. So they're playing at North Alabama against Austin Peay. That was the 7-8 game. The winner was going to play the number 2 seed, which is North Alabama. So you play each other. UNF gets off to a 10-2 lead in that game and looked very comfortable. At one point, they're up 31-13. I'm not sure UNF is going to. I'm not sure Austin Peay is going to get to 40 in the game. They were just they were making everything 31-13. Give Austin Peay credit. They chipped away a little bit. It got it to about 8 at the half, and then one of the most bizarre second halves you'll ever see. UNF scored 3 points in the last 6 minutes of the game. Did you see that?
Yeah.
They scored 3 points in the last 6 minutes of the game. Now look, your strengths and weaknesses are what they are. So because UNF has not been a great defensive team or an inside team, you understand that there's going to be times where they give up a lot of points. And when a team gets it going inside against them, they can give up a lot of inside points. That happens. I couldn't fathom a team as good offensively as UNF has been, scoring 3 points in the last 6 minutes of the game. One of the most bizarre, and by then I was watching again, one of the most bizarre finishes I think I've ever seen.
Well, it's been a theme all year, and so you wonder if it just sort of got into their heads late on the offensive end in terms of blowing several double-digit leads this year.
Yeah.
And obviously with the consequences involved in it being win or go home. The thing that I find just so striking about their season is just how they really couldn't ever figure out the defensive component. I mean, UNF is allowing 48.1% opposing field goal percentage. That's 347th in the country out of 355 D1 schools. I mean, that is, and I will say this, it's 48.1, but Frank, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, it seems like almost every game they've allowed 52% or more. Last night it was around 55%. You're just not going to be able to play like that. I mean, you can't be one of the worst teams in the nation in field goal percentage allowed and expect to have a semblance of a good year. So, yeah, it was certainly a puzzling year for the Ospreys. And, yeah, I know we were all hoping that they'd get hot and make a run, and JU, still could. And, you were sort of hoping for that third rumble. But, man, UNF just wildly inconsistent and just not nearly good enough on the defensive end.
Yeah, the numbers tell the story. And, again, I'm a big Matthew Driscoll fan and a big UNF guy because I appreciate our friend Nick Morrow and all they do. But it was it's the fifth year in a row now. They've gone out in the first round or in the quarters, their first game. It also was one more time this year, and I'm getting this from Gary Smith's story. I want to pass this on, but it's the third conference game they've lost this year after holding a double-digit lead, and that's within the league. So, again, they can shoot it. Gosh, they're fun to watch shooting the basketball, and I mean that very sincerely. They're really fun to watch. The way they shoot the ball is really fun to watch, but they certainly have gotten away from defense and playing inside, and that was the Achilles heel. So UNF gone. I just can't imagine a game where you're up 31-13 and you lose 90-69. It's just bizarre. Look, teams have blown. They're not the first team to blow an 18-point lead. That happens. But you rarely blow an 18-point lead and lose the game by 21. It was just a bizarre. And I feel for them. It was
sure.
A bizarre
I mean,
loss.
To get outscored 52-24 in the second half. Yeah. I mean, against a team that is just like you. I mean, in the play-in game, it's not like you're going into the one seed's house. Even that would be tough to excuse. But yeah, it just it makes you wonder what mental kind of stuff that team must have been going through, because I mean, we're just not used to seeing numbers like this.
Yeah. So UNF is out. JU. Then by the way, they're all elimination games now. When you're in a one-bid league, every game's an elimination game. So it starts tonight. And again, Michael Fly will join us. He is the associate head coach here at JU, and he'll be with us in just a few moments to talk a little JU basketball. JU in Eastern Kentucky, right here. We're on the campus now. They play tonight at Swisher, which is always a lot of fun. Gator hoops will be interesting. I thought, boy, is Will Richard playing at a great level. Boy, the other day, Houck had 17 points in that win against Texas A&M. But I thought Condon was the big guy that made the difference, led him in rebounding. That looked more like Alex Condon, the Alex Condon we've come to know. That was a good performance by them. That was a street fight, man, for people that didn't see the game. I mean, it was a battle of who could be more physical. They were lowering their shoulder, both teams, weren't they? Lowering their shoulder and running each other over and banging on each other and hacking. At one point, I thought, okay, this is going to be a game of nothing but free throws. Didn't you get that feel early on? They were just banging on each other and banging on each other.
Because that's A&M's. That's how they play.
Yeah, it is. And Florida's they're both very physical teams. And I back and forth, the physical. Florida, in the end, out-rebounded them. Only lost the offensive rebounding battle by 1. Putbacks by second-chance points by 1. So they battled A&M at what A&M does well. And then they got the three ball going. Boy, Will Richard is playing at an incredible level. And I think the storyline for me from the Florida basketball game, Hays, for me, what jumps off the page for me is that is what depth is. When you've got that many guys, 2 or 3 of them can play badly. You made this point about the Georgia game. Only one played well. But, I mean, Clayton, I don't know if he's hit the wall, but sometimes he looks tired. Elijah Martin at times is he made 4 threes in the first half, but he can disappear at times. He can start playing badly at times. Richard, who has disappeared at times, is now the guy that's on fire. So I thought that was a really good win, another double-digit conference win. I thought it was a street fight. I mean, buddy, I thought they were brawling in the middle of the road on a Friday night in a rumble, and the last man standing was going to win, and I thought the Gators in a street fight were the last man standing.
This is how you know Florida can win the national title, because they out-rebounded the SEC's best rebounding team in Texas A&M by 5, to your point, while dishing out 21 assists in the game. I mean, you rarely see that kind of ball movement and physical prowess on the glass. You rarely see any team be able to harness that. Florida's ball movement, particularly in the the first half, was just unbelievable. In the second half, there was some stagnation, but that's where you got Will Richard really stepping up, Alex Condon really stepping up, because it felt like there was about a 4 or 5 minute window there from 10, 15 minutes out from the final gun, where it looked like Florida was leaving the door open for Texas A&M to make a run and really, push and possibly pull the upset. But Will Richard didn't allow it to happen. He rescued him from that stagnation with a couple of huge threes. Condon got going. And yeah, I mean, that's why. You want to know why Florida can win the national title? That's why. Because they can out-rebound a team like Texas A&M while also having a ridiculous 21 assists. That is just beautiful basketball. It's finesse and toughness combined. And yeah, I mean, look, they get a terrible shooting game from Clayton. He's 3 of 13 from the field with 3 turnovers. I'm surprised he didn't get credited with 5 turnovers, but he only got credited for 3. You get nothing again from Denzel Aberdeen. He's 2 of 10 from the floor. You get absolutely nothing from Chinlelu. Plays 7 minutes, 2 fouls, 1 rebound, doesn't score. But it doesn't matter because they did everything else well. And they did get big performances from Richard, Martin, Houck. Hand-Logden, I thought, gave him some huge minutes early, particularly in the first half. He had 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals, really made some great hustle plays. He's rounding into form. Florida can win the whole thing.
It'll be interesting to see. We'll talk more basketball, a little football as well. But let's take a break. When we come back, Michael Fly is the associate head coach here at JU. He joins us as we get ready to play JU versus Eastern Kentucky. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
1010XL.
I'm talking about friendship, loyalty, honor. Okay?
Honored to be your friend. Honored to serve you Jacksonville Sports Radio.
That's the corniest thing I've ever heard.
1010XL.
Florida homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Universal Roof and Contractors protects your home and your wallet. Invest in a stronger roof and save big. Spend $6,000 and get up to $600 off. $15,000 up to $2,000 off. $20,000 up to $3,000 off. This deal ends March 31st. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Is your office productivity running at full speed? Advanced Business Solutions has the solution with Xerox copiers. Whether you need high volume printing, scanning, or secure document management, Xerox copiers deliver efficiency, quality, and innovation. With features like cloud integration and mobile printing, Xerox is perfect for any modern office. Let ABS help you streamline your workflow. Veteran-owned, Advanced Business Solutions.
Advanced Business Solutions.
Florida Home AC wants to make sure you're super cool when things heat up and toasty warm when the temps drop. Indoor comfort for you all year long is what they're going for. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com to score great deals on an AC tune-up and keep the temperature perfect.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hays Carlyon.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com
so you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Buying a diamond, wedding band, or piece of fashion jewelry in Jacksonville? You have two choices. You can go to locally owned Beard's Diamonds, or you can go to one of those mega national chain jewelry stores. The national chains are pretty much all the same. In fact, did you know that some of them are owned by the same conglomerate? Yes, the same Wall Street company owns all the big names. So if you're looking for extreme value with genuine personal attention, come experience the Beard's Diamond difference. At Beard's, our diamonds come straight from the source. We hand select each one for maximum brilliance. We don't have to apply corporate markups and tack on salespeople commissions, so we beat the chains on price every single day. Beards has the strongest warranties, not gotcha clauses in fine print. Beards has all the top designers, including Tacori and Viraggio. Beards doesn't have out-of-state regional managers calling about sales quotas. We are all local, family-owned with total freedom to do what's right for our customers. Beards Diamonds, all the selection, quality, value, and service you want from local people, accountable only to you. Beards in the St. John's Town Center.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You're going to want to beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Hey, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Don't forget about your air ducts. Your air ducts sort of like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them Dan or 1010XL sent you. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Transform your bathroom with stunning shower glass from Sky Glass Solutions in Jacksonville Beach. For a free quote, call 904-608-5151 or visit skyglasssolutions.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Hey, we welcome you back. We are live on the JU campus. Frank Frangie along with Hays Carlyon. Pleasure to welcome in Michael Fly, the associate head coach here at JU. As JU gets ready for Eastern Kentucky, a team you've beaten twice. Welcome to the program. How are you?
Thanks so much, guys. I'm good. Hopefully I'll be better about 10 o'clock tonight, but doing pretty good right now.
I
Appreciate
get it.
you having me on.
You play a team you've beaten twice, a team you beat last year when they had the highest of hopes. Does that help you? Does it put a chip on their shoulder? Obviously, both teams know each other well. How does that play out, Michael?
Man, that's a great question. If I could tell you how the minds of 18 to 23-year-olds work, then I'd probably be a richer man than I am. So You always, as a coach, you wonder, like, hey, is there added motivation? Do your guys, human nature, do you let your guard down a little bit? But I tell Coach Mincy this, and every guy I've ever worked for, at the end of the day, if our guys perform, they make shots, they defend and rebound, probably win. If they don't, probably going to be a long night. So I'm not sure, from a mental game standpoint where that goes, but we're going to try to defend, rebound, and play as hard as we can tonight.
What were some common themes defensively for you guys in the 2 wins against them? Because they were at 35% both games. So obviously probably some things translated from the first meeting to the second.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Hamilton's a good friend of mine, both Kentucky guys, so I've known him a long time, and he does a tremendous job with that program. They've got unbelievable three-point shooting. They are actually first in offensive rebound in the league, with us being second, so they really offensive rebound it. The kid George Kimball was having a great year for them, and I don't know if he'll play tonight or not, but he hasn't played in the last few weeks. And they've done an unbelievable job of adjusting without a guy who's an all-league guy going out of the lineup. They've really hit stride here. So we've got to defend the three-point line. We've got to really keep them off the glass, and we were fortunate enough to do that in the 2 games thus far.
Michael, I've told Jordan this to him, so I'm not saying it behind him. They play so hard. He's so organized. They play so good defensively. If they being you guys, could ever figure it out offensively, make shots, and he credits you with changing that a little bit. He's kind of the offensive coordinator. How do you get a program that's so good, been in the championship game 2 of the last 3 years, so good defensively, so good, such a good rebounding team, play with such effort to start making shots? How do you do that? Because you've affected that some this year.
Yeah, I think that starts in recruiting. You look at the guys. We're actually the number 1 3-point shooting team in the league by the percentages, and not number of makes.
Right.
And so we try to really go out and recruit that. Zimmy Wakaji, obviously the way he shoots the ball, and KJ Jackson, and Zach Bell's improved his 3-point shooting. Rob McCray, when he takes good three-pointers, a good 3-point shooter. But the one that's really, it's a credit to our staff, it's a credit to the kid, but Chris Arias did not come in here as a shooter. In fact, he came in here with that being a little bit of a knock on his game. If you had told me that he would shoot it 50+% from 3, I would not have believed you a year ago. But I think it's a testament to Coach Mincy, to our staff. Our younger development staff has done a terrific job with those guys, getting them in, watching film, getting extra reps, pre-practice, post-practice. So I think it's both. I think it starts with recruiting guys that can shoot the ball. I think after that it's development. And then we also try to encourage that in our offense, probably more than they have in the past here. I'm on them all the time when they turn down open threes. It's very frustrating. So that's part of it, is just shooting the open threes. And the more open threes you shoot, the more you make.
To that end, what I love about Zimmy is he's looking to shoot. Zimmy hadn't found that shot he doesn't like yet. And I love that. Is the guy that's in charge of that, do you like that? I love it.
The biggest thing, so I actually brought this from University of Missouri, and they got it from USA Basketball. So we do something called gold, silver, and bronze shots. And it's an easy way to try to categorize shots. So we tell guys the best shots in basketball, which are quote-unquote gold medal shots, are free throws and shots at the rim. The next best shot is a catch-and-shoot 3 uncontested. So that's our silver medal shot. Bronze medal shots are pull-up threes or mid-range jump shots. So we're not one of those programs that says, don't ever take a mid-range, don't ever.
Right.
But we encourage layups and we encourage catch-and-shoot threes. So, yeah, a guy like Zim, you definitely never have to tell him not to shoot the ball. No. We just want to encourage elite shots, open, kick-out threes, as many of those as we can get, as many transition threes as we can get. When you asked earlier, getting back to kind of what we've changed a little bit, our pace has changed. Coach Mincy was more of a walk-it-up, set-based guy. We're now a transition offense team. In fact, when you look at our numbers, we're really good in transition offense, not as good when we have to slow it down and run sets. So,
Robert McCray has been outstanding all season, but against Eastern Kentucky had 18 points in the first victory, had 15 in the second victory. What do you like coaching about Robert, and why is he able to be such a consistent player for you guys?
Well, probably the best thing about coaching him, he's an elite human being. Sometimes to the point that you have to grab him and go, hey, Rob, you're being a little too nice out there. He's an unbelievable person off the floor. His work ethic is second to none. When I come in, I drop my kids off in the mornings, and I get here between 8 and 9. He's already in the gym every day. So when your best player is also your hardest worker, he's very consistent. And again, I can't say enough about what he's like as a kid. So now it's fun to coach a basketball player like that because, again, if there's anything with him, it's like, hey, Rob, let's be a little meaner. Hey, Rob, let's attack more because he's such a great kid. He'll defer at times, sometimes take his foot off the gas a little bit. But he's a joy to coach, man. He's, as you guys know, I've been in this league a long time. He's one of the more gifted players that I've had the opportunity to coach in this league or coach against, to be quite frank.
Michael Fly with us, the associate head coach here at JU. We're going to talk about his time at Gulf Coast in a bit, but a few more thoughts on this. It looks to me like there's times when you guys just say, okay, Rob, take over. And he just takes the ball and he creates. I thought the run through the tournament last year was a lot of Rob McCray taking the ball and everything happens. He's a good passer. He's a great penetrator. You're right. At times he's a very good shooter. Am I reading that right? Does it happen? Is there time that's the play? It looks that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you said that. Last year during the ASUN tournament, we didn't have as many healthy bodies as we have this year. Didn't have as much shooting. Probably didn't have as much physical ability, to be quite frank. So we tried to play through Bryce and Rob as much as possible. Every action was Bryce and Rob, Bryce and Rob, Bryce and Rob. And we actually tried to limit possessions last year because the higher the possessions were and the faster the game went, it wasn't good for us.
Yeah.
This year's been a little bit different with Rob being preseason player of the year, and last year he was able to sneak up on people a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, now he's at the top of every scout. So we've actually found, ironically, a year ago it was what you said, hey, run it through Rob, run it through Rob, run it through Rob. Some of his best games have now come when he takes his least amount of shots because he's not as focused. Every time he's got the ball, every set of eyes is on him, the whole defense. So when we run our flow offense and the ball's moving, he tends to play better because he can kind of get lost. When he has the ball at the top and everybody knows, okay, it's McCray time, it's harder sometimes because the defense is so loaded up. So we try to mix in, hey, time for Rob, he's going, and hey, let him get lost a little bit so they can't key in on him as much.
And your expertise, particularly in this league, do you emphasize the one and done, that it's a conference tournament now, or are these athletes so ingrained in that you try and keep it as much on Eastern Kentucky and not looking forward as much as you can?
No, we try to be honest with them. I mean, we talked about today and shoot around and in film, like it's win or go home, guys. Every possession, every time that there's any play going on the floor, it has to be win or go home mentality. And that's just the reality of the situation. I don't think you can dance around it. They've been through this before a little bit, some of the guys that are returners last year. We feel like internally there were probably some games looking back we thought we could have won. That credit to the teams that beat us, but we really felt like it was more of a Jacksonville issue than who we were playing. So we feel like we left a few games on the table, and now it's time to hopefully be able to correct those issues.
Michael, you're a basketball guy. You're from Kentucky, which means you got to be a horse, bourbon, and basketball guy. That's the law.
You're right.
But you've been on NBA staffs. You were on that really good staff at FSU. You were part of that great Dunk City run. So you know this sport, man, and now you've been here. How does JU become that? I mean, that's a broad question. I know that. But, I mean, how does JU become what Gulf Coast was for that magical few years, probably before Andy went to USC? And how does that happen?
Yeah, I think it starts with elite talent and elite human beings as far as the administration and coaching staff. And I think what's been really eye-opening for me and has been one of my favorite things about JU is President Koss and Alex Ricker-Gilbert. It starts at the top now with their support of our program, with their understanding how important men's basketball is on a campus that doesn't have football. They've done an unbelievable job of supporting our program and trying to say yes to us in terms of how they can help us. And then I think it goes to Jordan Mincy and what he's created here. And taking a job that, throughout the country, I don't know if people knew, can you win at a high level at Jacksonville consistently? Obviously, it's been done in the past, but recently not as much. I think the combination of those three, Coach Mincy, President Koss, Alex, the leadership team is where that starts because they are about winning, and they're about winning the right way. I think they're about winning with the right type of culture guys. So our focus now is, okay, we see from the top down, culture is important. The type of human being we bring to this campus is important. Now it's just about going and finding the guys that fit from a talent standpoint, that are talented enough to win games, but that also fit the culture here at Jacksonville. And that's what we try to do in Fort Myers, and I'm hoping that we can do that here.
What's the environment going to be like tonight? You guys have done a great job at home, 10-3. That's sort of been a staple of Jordan's run here. But what makes that such a special place for you guys?
Man, I can tell you as an opponent, it's not a fun place to play. We were joking earlier. You guys know it's normally pretty cool in there, right? So when I was a visiting coach and would come in, I would call Coach Jasic at the time and even Coach Mincy my first year and say, hey, man, can y'all stop doing this to us in our shoot-arounds? There's no way that you guys have it this cold for your own players. Well, I was wrong. It's always that cold. So I say that somewhat jokingly, but I believe I'm saying this correctly. I think Coach Mincy has the best home record in the league in his 4 years in terms of that space. It's just not an easy place to play. I mean, the dimensions are different than different arenas in the league. When it's packed in there, it feels like they're sitting on top of you. This is probably a little bit of an over-the-top reference, but for this league, I mean, I used to have to go play in Cameron Indoor, and they were sitting right on top of you. And it was an older building. It was a really hard place to play. We kind of like to think that Swish gives us that advantage here, and we try to buy into that and embrace it, right? We try to embrace it. Yeah, we know it's an older gym. We know it's smaller. We know it's not an arena, right? It is. It's a gym. But we love that about it. We talk about, hey, we got to bring people in here and they've got to be in the trenches. They've got to get a little dirty when you go to Swish. So it kind of embodies who we are as a program and culture.
You going to have pain?
That's a great question.
I didn't think you'd tell me, by the way. And I respect you not telling me, but I got to kind of ask.
Here's what I'll tell you. We think he's going to be a game time decision.
Okay.
So there's a chance that we may have him.
That's a guy's a veteran head coach, by the way. So you know that.
There's a chance that we may have him. He's starting to ramp up. Obviously, that's a Coach Mincy and medical staff decision, but I think he's going to be a game time decision for us.
Yeah, I told Hays this, and I said it with Jordan here. Look, Munson's become a very good scorer. He's a very good scoring post player. Zimmy has got great range as a stretch four. Rivers, I'm not telling you, but I think Payne makes you different. I think rim protecting, you feel that way. I think he's different. He's in this league, he's special inside, I think.
I would agree with you. It's funny. Coach Mincy said to me when we dropped the 3 straight, that happened to coincide with Steph going down.
Yeah.
He said to me, is there something we're doing different? I said, yeah, there's something different. I said, one of the best bigs in the league sitting in street clothes. So I'll tell you, going back to Leonard Hamilton, Coach Mincy's as good of a basketball coach as I've ever been around, and that's saying a lot with the guys that I've been around. But you got to have great players. It starts with talent. I mean, you can draw up whatever you want. And I think when you have Steph Payne out there, you've got a multitude of guys that you got to worry about can either go get you 20 points or can have a monster defensive performance. So our margin for error with him is larger. When he's not out there, it's smaller margin for error. We're still good enough to win, but he definitely gives us a boost. He definitely gives us a presence down there, both offensively and defensively.
Michael Fly, the associate head coach at JU in Eastern Kentucky tonight at Swisher. I love it. I can't wait to watch it. Both teams 12-6 in the league. JU has swept them this year and a big win last year. We'll see if they keep it going. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, guys. We appreciate it.
Back in a moment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
The Players Championship is the biggest PGA Tour event we can win.
If you can't make it to the Players, let 1010XL bring the Players to you with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates. Teed up by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors.
The Deck Guys.
And Taco Lou.
This is Hays Carlyon for Physician Guided Weight Loss. I'm down over 25 pounds already thanks to Physician Guided Weight Loss. I feel great, and it's all thanks to them. Their amazing technology, fast setup, friendly staff, and proven results sold me. They can help you too, and it's affordable with firm pricing, no rising costs as you go. If you're like me and looking to get a leaner body with the warm weather coming, call my friends at Physician Guided Weight Loss at 257-4344. That's 257-4344.
Don't miss the Players Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scottie Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Listen up, poker players. March is heating up at all 3 Best Bet locations. The Bad Beat jackpots are now uncapped, soaring to new heights, so don't miss your chance to win big. Plus, get in on the $42,000 weekend windfall featuring $1,000 high hands every Friday and $500 high hands on Saturdays. And starting March 3rd, the Race to a Race promotion is back. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Plumbing problem, septic emergency, HVAC system not doing its job? Don't panic. Call the pros at Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. From leaks, clogged drains to septic installations and air conditioning repairs, we've got the tools and expertise to get it done right. Dial 904-862-6769 now and let our friendly team handle the dirty work so you don't have to. Remember, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
Hey, this is David with Royal Pest Services. The fact that we've been bundled up the past month gave us an idea. Let's bundle up also with our Centricon and Pest Control Bundle, starting at $349. Visit RoyalPestServices.com for your free inspection.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Spring and summer registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball. Plus, all new girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows. I-9 Sports with fields and gyms all over 3 counties. And the best thing is I-9 Sports offers sports year-round so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Give us your hot take.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
On the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Be part of the conversation. 641-1010.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can stand, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Looking for adventure? Need a machine that works as hard as you do? CF Moto has you covered. At Ride Now Beach Boulevard, we've got CF Moto ATVs and UTVs built for any task, any trail, anytime. Tear up the dirt with the trail-tested C-Force ATV lineup or conquer through terrain with a Z-Force UTV. Find your CF Moto ride today at Ride Now Beach Boulevard or visit ridenowbeachboulevard.com. ATVs and UTVs are for riders 16 and older. They can be hazardous to operate. CF Moto recommends an improved safety training course.
Find the Celt in you. March 9 and 10 at the St. Augustine Celtic Music and Heritage Festival with Celtic bands, Highland Games, St. Patrick's Parade and more. CelticStAugustine.com. Sponsored by St. John's County TDC.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Clockwork Cash Out is back this weekend at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. $300 every 15 minutes from 6 p.m. to midnight. Friday and Saturday at the table games. Man, all kind of fun stuff always going on at the Best Bet, and always a Best Bet Monday around here. Thanks to Associate Head Coach Michael Fly. Boy, he was good talking basketball with us. JU in Eastern Kentucky now, tonight, in Swisher. A quarterfinal game, and certainly an exciting time for JU trying to move on. Again, they have been in the championship game of the Atlantic Sun tournament 2 of the previous 3 years, 2 of the 3 years that Jordan Mincy has been here. Got a road to climb here. They've got to beat a good team that they've beaten twice already. If you win this, in all likelihood, you're probably going to have to play at Lipscomb later on in the week. And then if you win that game, you're playing the championship game on Sunday. So let's hope that happens. I would imagine Lipscomb, the number 1 seed, will hold serve. So we'll see if it winds up playing out that way. Frangie and Carlyon here. LaSelva back in World Headquarters. More basketball talk coming up later on in the program. Let's get to football for a second. Darius Slay, too old?
Yeah, and I think he's going to probably end up back with Philly on just a smaller deal. But yeah, 34 years old. I mean, obviously he's local. It'd be a fantastic story. I mean, he'd bring a lot of savvy leadership to the locker room. But for where the Jaguars are, I'd be surprised if that's the direction they go in. And really, I think this is just sort of cap mechanics for the Eagles. They're saving some money now, and my guess is, trying to bring Slay back at a more reasonable figure later on this summer. So, I think looking at corner is certainly a high priority, but I'd be surprised if Darius Slay is on their board just because I just think by the time the Jaguars assuming the Jaguars don't just step in and are great in year 1, which I think is a low probability. What are the odds that, and he's probably looking for a place. I mean, he just won a world championship. If he can't get back to Philly, my guess is he's trying to get somewhere where he feels like he can get another ring.
All right, let's talk about some guys. Again, we're a week out. Again, I will caution you, don't believe everything you're going to see about who's headed where. This is the funny season in the NFL. So you're going to see this team associated with this guy, and I caution you, no matter how valid the source seems, I would caution you not to believe it till it happens. But having said all that, let's go through some names. Who are the best? And I'm even going to include guys that have been tagged. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to. Sometimes I'll peel the tag guys off this conversation, but I'll leave them all on here. T. Higgins, the best guy in free agency.
I think so. Yeah, and he is tagged again.
Yeah.
So
a lot of these guys will be tagged.
Yeah, so not getting out, but yeah, I would say T. Higgins is the best free agent if he were to be available.
Trey Smith, had he not re-signed, would he have been the second best free agent?
I think you could certainly make a case. It depends on what you think, like a Ronnie Stanley has left in Baltimore. But yeah, I would say that he would have a good chance. Khalil Mack. There's I think a bunch of guys in that sort of. I mean, T. Higgins is a very high level player, so I mean he was sort of. I think separated by a pretty good distance, and then once you get beyond him, yeah, I think there's a handful of guys you could probably throw in there as the next best one.
Milton Williams. How do you feel about Milton Williams? Was he a guy that just came out of nowhere in the Super Bowl? Is he one of the best defensive tackles in football? He's only 26. Would he move the needle for you?
Sure. I mean, it's a position in need, and so that would make some sense. I'd be surprised if that's the direction that they're able to go in here. And
why? I mean, by the way, before you go on, I kind of would too, but I don't know why I would. It just doesn't feel like it to me. Make sense?
Yeah, so. I think with Armstead, Mason Smith, I understand drafting somebody at as high as 5 because you don't know how much longer you're going to have Armstead. This could easily be his last year with the Jaguars. So, I don't know that they're going to commit to, a player like Milton Williams, who, I mean, is probably going to be a pretty good bit of money. And I'm not sure how. I mean, most of the list you see, he's really not in the top 3 or 4 interior defensive line as you look at it. again, it all comes down to beauty's in the eye of the beholder. What is Liam Cohen and Anthony Campanile looking for at that position? So you can't rule it out, but I'd be surprised if they go D-tackle in free agency.
Yeah, it's Chris Godwin. It's only 29, feels older. Been hurt. Liam knows him awfully well. Yes, no?
That's the thing. I think if it would be a no for me because of the injury history, and I think the Jaguars are in pretty good shape at receiver. If you sign Godwin, I'm assuming that means Kirk is gone. I wouldn't necessarily love to make that trade.
I wouldn't either.
And they're kind of saddled with Gabe Davis for now. They don't really get any relief by cutting him, and he won't have a trade market. So I think they're kind of stuck at receiver. I could see them releasing Christian Kirk and applying that savings elsewhere and then drafting a receiver in the first few rounds. But I would say they're better off keeping Christian Kirk and not going after Godwin. But again, if Liam Cohen wants him,
that's right.
Then you have to. That history has to carry the day on the decision.
Yeah, and again, Liam Cohen was in Tampa a year, not 12 years. So you never know with whom he built great relationships. He's a good dude. He probably built a lot of great relationships, but you just don't know. Center Drew Dahlman. Now, for people that don't know, everyone knows now the Jags just went into free agency and got a center a year ago in Mitch Morse, who's not as young a guy. Dahlman's only 26 years old. The best center in free agency is roundly agreed upon. Do anything for you?
I think he'd be great, but that's where some of this gets complicated because you do have Mitch Morse, who you would think is the starter. So are you going to uproot that, bring in a free agent? What do you do with Mitch Morse? Is he now a backup? Because, again, I don't know how much tradability there might be. I mean, they could probably get something for him, a conditional, late round pick down the road. But, but it sort of creates a bit of an obstacle. So I would be surprised if they go free agent at center. I could certainly see them drafting one at some point in the first 4 rounds, particularly since they have the 2 3s and 2 4s, and being somebody that could grow maybe a year under Mitch Morse. But I would be surprised if they ante up in free agency for a guy who is undoubtedly the starter and Mitch Morse is now a backup.
Will Fries, the guard from the Colts, 27 years old.
Yeah, I mean, guard obviously is a sweet spot because Brandon Sheriff is obviously going to hit the market, and I don't think there's much of a chance that the Jaguars will re-sign him. So, yeah, right guard's wide open. I don't think the Jaguars have an in-house option that you could feel great about. So that's a position that probably does need to be addressed in free agency. Now, it may be a plan C-level guy, a guy that, allows them to kind of have the facade of we don't necessarily have to draft a right guard high because we signed this guy in free agency. But my guess is they will commit some money to the right guard. So I think Freeze could absolutely be in play.
Asante Samuel. He's only 25. Hasn't been great. Hasn't been a great tackler.
Right.
But in the right system, do anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be savvy because I think his best football is probably ahead of him. And that is a real concern opposite Tyson Campbell. Is what are they going to do there? And look, I mean, Tyson Campbell is good, but he's not great. And so that number 2 corner, it can't just sort of be a guy because you've got this lockdown number 1 guy. Tyson Campbell has good games for sure, but doesn't have consistently great like you might expect or be looking for. So I think corner 2 is a high priority. I would be surprised if they don't address that in free agency. Again, it could be more the Ronald Darby route like last year where it's like
veteran
a guy that they signed that's like in the second wave that technically can be the starter and it looks okay on paper, but it's not a great fix. But they could do that. But my guess is it'll be a little bit higher of a quality player because, I just think looking at corner with the other needs they have, my guess is that's probably not going to be the 5th pick. If it's not the 5th pick, then at what point does it work its way in? And I don't think you want to be starting necessarily a 3rd-round rookie corner opposite Tyson Campbell. So I'll say that they are pretty aggressive at corner and getting a second guy with Tyson Campbell.
All right, I got one for you. Obviously, they think they had the former regime thought they had something in Antonio Johnson. Andre Cisco did not have a good year, but they certainly had high hopes for him going into the year. Savage was a better safety than a nickel, so there's numbers back there. What about Justin Reed? He's 28. He's been really good with both the Texans and the Chiefs. Safeties don't tend to get paid. What do you think?
I think safety is absolutely probably number one on their list because I don't know that you're going to get a lot of great help in the draft. And so in looking at it, I think right guard and safety, and those are high on the list because of basically how it lays out with free agency in the draft. So I would think I'll be shocked if they don't sign a free agent safety of some consequence. And some decent money. So I think that's got to be a high priority. And the good thing is, I think there's a number of guys. There's 6 or 7 guys that I think all are around the same kind of player. So it can be who they think is the best fit for what they want to do. And again, it should be a competitive market. So they might be able to. To get a pretty good deal here because there's a lot of volume at safety. There may not be a lot of teams looking to buy at safety, which would benefit the Jaguars.
Azeez Ojulari. Do you spend any money on an edge when you got 2 pretty good ones?
I wouldn't think
because you need a third one at some point.
They do, and again, that would be something that in the draft they could certainly look at adding. They should look at adding it in the draft, and it's pretty deep. So again, one of those 2 third-rounders. Potentially, maybe even the second-round selection. I don't think you'll see edge at 5, more because of the talent that I think will be available there. So yeah, I would think that the edge they'd probably wait. They might go after a guy that's more in the C-level range just to add a body in there that they think might be okay. But my guess is the big fix there will come with a rookie. And that's a position where I think a rookie under Hines Allen and Walker, can be brought along with a, 25% snap count kind of early on. And I think that's a good role for a rookie.
All right. Let's assume they need a right guard. That's a position people have identified, right? Mekhi Becton flopped as a tackle in New York, thrived as a guard in Philadelphia. He's gigantic. He's as big as Keystone Heights. He's 26. Number one, is he a guard now? I mean, I think he's a guard now, right?
I think
he's a guard.
I think he's a guard.
He's a guard. He's a run-blocking guard.
That's what he should be.
Yeah. And he was very good.
Sure.
You like him?
Yeah, we've talked about it. Finesse has been one of the things that, that we've really criticized the previous administration for.
Not physical enough to line of
Yeah,
scrimmage.
in the ditch. And, and James Gladstone was very transparent at the Combine, says, we need to set the dish for Trevor Lawrence. And what he meant by that is we need Trevor to feel like he can step into throws, that the interior pocket is secure enough that he can take a step as he throws it. And he was like, you can tell by watching him, he hasn't had that confidence. Moving from more of the finesse guards like Sheriff, Cleveland, going and getting guys like a Becton, and then a draft pick that I think is going to be a real mauler at the guard spot. That is something that they should do. And
Becton is a mauler in the run game.
Without a doubt.
He is a big physical good luck.
There's a reason he went top 10.
Yeah.
He had no college film.
Right.
Basically. He went top 10 because, to your point, he's a house that can run.
Right.
And so, it didn't work out at tackle, but certainly Philadelphia was the elixir for getting his career back on path. Yeah, I would stay at right guard. And, I think he certainly would be. He's what I would look at. If this to me seems like a team that really wants to improve the physicality, the frame of their guys, and really the approach to how they play. Again, Liam Cohen says, the offensive line is the first thing the opponent sees when we break the huddle. That needs to mean something. Well, it's not going to mean anything when they see Ezra Cleveland. It just isn't. He's just not a big guy. It's every player has strengths. Ezra Cleveland is more of a speed guard. He's not a mauler, and I think a guy like Becton, again, different position, but I think a guy like Becton at right guard could certainly be that. And I would think at left guard, they're looking for guys that can move people, not necessarily guys that can get 40 yards downfield on a screen pass.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting is, do different regimes feel differently? I think they got to get more physical. I think Milton Williams is a really good player. I think he's a really good player. And I think if you could tell me right now they had Becton and Williams off the world champions, forget everybody else, and you're going to have more. If you could tell me right now they had those two players, and Williams will be super expensive. Becton, I'm not sure. People aren't sure. Is he the player that busted in New York? Is he the player that really thrived in a run-heavy, really great back, really great running quarterback, really, you know what I mean? I mean, was it because they had all that stuff around him? Great back, great running quarterback, great lineman around him. Did he thrive because of that, or did the light go on? So I don't think he's expensive. Milton Williams is going to be expensive.
Correct.
So,
I don't think Becton will be expensive. There's a lot of guards out there, and some teams are simply going to say, why would we spend on this? We'll wait until the second, third, fourth round of the draft, and we'll get our guard there.
See, I think Kevin Seidler is a really good player. I wish they'd have gone after him last time, and I said that on the air to you. But he's 35 now. And they've kind of been there, done that with Norwell and then Sheriff. You know what I mean? They've kind of gone and gotten the guy whose better years were a little bit behind him at that spot. If you could tell me Milton Williams on the defensive front and Mekhi Becton at right guard, if you could tell me that today, and don't tell me anything else they did in free agency, boy, I'd feel good about that. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
If those two players, they're coming off the world, they're coming with their rings, by the way. Okay, they're showing up with their rings. I'd feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, anything that they do to address the trenches should be met with applause, because it's their biggest weakness, that the interior, both those lines. And and we can get into tackle. There was some tackles that had outstanding combines, and so that's become a little bit of a talker in the last 24 hours with the Jaguars is offensive tackle back in, maybe in play at 5.
That would surprise me, wouldn't you? That would really surprise me.
It would surprise me as well. But I think their issues are more geared towards the interior. And like we've talked about, the good news, at least on the offensive front, is you shouldn't have to spend huge to fix guard. And if you want to invest in a center to replace Morris, if you want to take a guy in the third, fourth round, by all means do that. But yeah, I would. To your point, your hypothetical, if they added defensive tackle and a guard.
Well, especially if they added that defensive tackle and that guard. And again, it's recency bias. Hey, I just watched them, I just watched them dominate. I just watched that team physically dominate the team that has set the standard for the last half decade. I think that's that's kind of where my head is on this, that the Chiefs have been the standard bearer for forever. And I watched this Philadelphia line, with all due respect to Hurts and Barkley and A.J. Brown and a lot of those secondary guys, with all due respect to Cooper DeJean, I watched those lines dominate the Chiefs, right? And I'm a simple-minded guy, man. I just saw it. That's what I want. I'm the worst, okay? I mean, that's what I'd like to see. Quickly before we break, what do you want to see him do? Free agency. Forget the draft. We'll get to the draft. Free agency starts in a week. What do you want to see him do?
You got to get a guard. I think you've got to get a safety, and I think you got to get number 2 corner help.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily have to be that guy's the week 1 starter. The contract will tell you.
But those are the 3 spots that jump off the page for you.
Yes, those are. If they could get adequate to high level players at those 3 spots, I think it'd be a good. I think it'd be a good round for him.
I can't wait. Wait from today.
Getting close.
We'll be sitting there doing a show.
Yeah.
They'll have signees everywhere. He's signing. He's right. It will.
JJ will be like, we've got news.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if they don't sign someone, you'll be miserable. Okay.
No, I'm excited. Whatever they decide, they've got my full confidence.
Okay.
Whatever they decide to do,
Not a little bit miserable, like half miserable?
No,
sort of
not
miserable?
now.
Okay.
Now it's I'm in the honeymoon phase. So like everything, they need to build the program how they see fit. So whatever moves those are, I mean, you could look at a contract and be like, well, I think they spent too much, but that's welcome to free agency. So I mean, that complaint is almost universal. But in terms of the guys that they go after and the guys they sign, I mean, look, they may look at the running backs and say, we can't win with Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. That's not where I am.
Right.
But they may feel that way.
Well,
and who knows? And maybe they go sign J.K. Dobbins.
Well,
I mean, I don't think they'll do that.
But that's a great point.
But if they decide to do that, then they have deserved the chance to build the team as they want to build it, and then we'll see how it works out.
Well, that's the best point of all, though, Hays, is we really don't know how James Gladstone, his staff, Liam Cohen, Tony Baselli, we really don't know how they value the guys on their roster. And nor should they tell you because they're showing their hand. That's the biggest that's the real reality. We can guess and predict all we want. We have a pretty good idea of how Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke felt about player X. We have a pretty good I got a real good idea because Doug told me, so we have a pretty good idea. We have no idea on how these guys feel about this group, which is by the way, makes it fun as hell.
Absolutely.
As it does. So a week. Did I tell you it's a week?
That's
one?
right.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some college basketball. Florida dropped in some polls. Does that matter? And how important is this week for that Gator Hoops team? That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL is your home for Jacksonville University basketball.
It's tournament time at Swisher Gym. ASUN quarterfinals. JU Eastern Kentucky. Tonight at 7 on 1010 AM.
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interests first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Transform your bathroom with stunning shower glass from Sky Glass Solutions in Jacksonville Beach. For a free quote, call 904-608-5151 or visit skyglasssolutions.com.
Your hole-in-one for men's health is Ackerman Urology. With offices in Mandarin, Middleburg, World Golf Village, and the beaches, Ackerman will get you on par for any prostate conditions and sexual vitality. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for over 75 years. And now, catch this. Bono's new limited time offer features an Atlantic fried cod platter with 2 pieces of mouth-watering fried cod and 1 southern side for $15.49, or a fried cod sandwich with 1 southern side for $12.99. You can't beat that deal. And after 1 bite, you'll be hooked. So you better hurry in. The fried cod platter right now at Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
My name is Ann. I'm 67 years old. I lost 25 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. I have so much more energy. I feel at least 20 years younger. I can run up the stairs now where it was a little bit hard for me. My knees would always hurt. I had shoulder pain. I've had elbow pain. I think it's all pretty much from the weight that I had on my body, on my frame. It feels amazing that Awaken 180 offers free maintenance for life. The fact that I have free coaching when the weight loss process is over is absolutely amazing to me.
Hey, it's Matt Hays. Less joint pain, more energy, reducing medications. The benefits of losing weight with Awaken 180 are endless. The ability to maintain that weight loss, priceless. Free support for life. Online at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
Open early and open late. Dailies is always there, making things easy for you to cruise in and cruise out. So hit Dailies Cold Case the next time you're craving a cold one. Bud Light by the case. Plus plenty of singles to choose from. Corona to the King of Beers to Stella or a Natty. They're all cold at Dailies.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy. You look worried.
Worried? I'm apoplectic.
You're what now?
I'm freaking out, Jason. Stupid water heater crapped out, so I haven't showered since Thursday. I start smelling a little funky, blow my big corporate job interview tomorrow. I'll end up settling for some dead-end career selling spatulas on the internet.
Dude, stay cool.
There's nothing cool about a cold shower, Jason. I mean, I know how that sounds, but
Bueller Air and Plumbing can get a new water heater installed today. The day you call. You could be smelling fresh again by dinner time.
Wait, you can do that?
Put on these sunglasses.
Whoa.
Is that cooler?
Oh, yeah.
Well, life moves pretty fast. If you spend much more time smelling like this, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Magic found themselves falling just short once again yesterday, this time to the Raptors 104-102 after Franz Wagner missed a layup with 2 seconds left to send the game to overtime. Veteran guard Kentavious Caldwell-Pope spoke on the close loss post-game.
That's always tough to lose like that, when you have a chance to take it into overtime or to win it. And we had the opportunity. Unfortunately, it didn't go through, but that we executed that play well and got the shot that we wanted. We just didn't want, we didn't want the game to end that way. But before that play, we had a lot of mistakes in that third, I would say.
The Magic are currently the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, sitting in position for the play-in tournament. They'll run it back with Toronto Tuesday at 7. It's 63 degrees at 5:07. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Frangie and Carlyon with you. JU in Eastern Kentucky tonight at 7 o'clock. We're here on the campus of Jacksonville University. Glad to be here, getting excited for that game tonight. Do want to thank Associate Head Coach Michael Fly for stopping by and saying hello. Getting ready for JU. Once again, JU has beaten Eastern Kentucky twice now this season and eliminated them in the tournament last year. 3 straight wins. Eastern Kentucky knows that, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited about that. Hope JU can win and move along. I didn't watch 1 minute of the Oscars. Is that bad?
No.
Is that you judging me?
Did you see any of the movies?
I didn't even know the movies.
I didn't either.
Why is that? I mean, why is someone like me, who used to go to a lot of movies, and used to love? By the way, I used to love it when it wasn't called the Oscars; it was called the Academy Awards, Yet the award was the Oscars. So now
Right.
they've just changed it to the Oscars.
Is that? I didn't even know that. It's not called the Academy Awards
No,
anymore?
it's called the Oscars. It's no longer referred to as the Academy Awards. Boy, I thought I was out of touch.
Yeah, wow.
I feel way better. But it's called the Oscars now.
Okay. When did they do that?
That was awesome. JJ, did you watch any of the Oscars last night or no?
No.
No. Yeah,
No. I could name one movie that was up for Best Picture.
Yeah, and by the way, it's not a political thing. People think it has nothing to do with politics.
This is.
I just don't watch.
We don't know the movies.
Yeah, but I used to always know the move. Why don't we? I mean, look, we're in three different generations. Okay, the three of us.
Yeah.
Why did not? So it's not an old guy thing because JJ's 34 years old. So it's not me being an old guy. Why do we not know the movies anymore when we used to know all the movies and I'd watch every minute of the Academy Awards?
Because the big studios simply are not going to invest in that kind of a movie anymore. They just aren't. They want to make either the massive blockbuster or they want to make maybe a comedy or horror. It can be good in terms of profitability.
Yeah.
But in terms of the movies that, we sort of grew up, I think all of us sort of grew up on the quality of the movies. The big studios where it would be like the gigantic release and there would be the marketing behind it. They're not interested in greenlighting those projects. So those they're still good concepts,
right?
But those concepts are now getting more towards the independent, circuit, which isn't going to have the marketing arm, isn't going to be able to put movies in wide release. So you end up having to be like a real film buff, having to go almost seek these movies out. Whereas it used to just be you went down to your neighborhood theater.
Well, that's part of it too.
Of the 10 movies playing, 4 of them at some point might be nominated for an Oscar. By the way, I'm seeing Academy Awards is still what they're called.
Oh, I thought they're called the Oscars. You sure?
I mean, I'm sure it goes in.
I don't think so. They're called the Oscars.
Well, I'm looking at 2 different newspaper sites, and it's wins Best Picture at 97th Academy Awards.
Oh, okay.
So I think you can use them both.
Okay.
But you threw me off there for a second. I was like, really? It formally changed? They don't go by Academy
Awards? The TV
Awards
show
anymore?
calls it the Oscars. Okay,
correct. And I'm sure
I looked at my TV guide,
and it said Oscars.
It said the Oscars.
Yeah.
Hey JJ, did you used to watch? Did you watch the Academy Awards?
Yeah,
you did?
I remember when I was a kid, everybody watched it because they knew the movies. I remember when The Lord of the Rings was always nominated, and I really wanted that one to win. But looking at last year, I guess last year there was a couple that normal people saw, like Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Killers of the Flower Moon. I would say the 3 out of the 10.
Yeah.
But this year,
I heard of those.
I have no idea, and it's like that for the majority of the last 15 years. I really don't know any of these movies.
Yeah, I don't either. But it was just weird for me to not watch one minute of it. I mean, I don't know the soundtracks. I don't know. And again, I'm glad we have 3 different generations represented here. Certainly, you and JJ are the same generation. I'm a different generation than y'all. But
Actually,
y'all are 12 years apart.
I even think we're different because I'm at the back end of Gen X.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the last years of that generation.
What am I? Am I a boomer?
I have no idea.
66. I may be too. I think the boomers are older than me. I think they're a little older than I am. So anyway, I didn't watch it. All right, we move on.
By the way, happy 66th birthday to my mother today. Just wanted to
happy birthday.
Well, absolutely happy birthday to
You're part of a lost and restless generation.
Is that what we lost? JJ's mom and me. Okay, we're both 66, so there's that. So the Gator basketball team, I thought, showed something. They found a way to win a game where they were just clunky a little bit in the first. It was a street fight, Hays. It was a battle. I mean, it was a last man. It really was. It was the last man standing kind of fight. And I thought A&M might be more physical to them early on. I thought they were pushing them around. But A&M wasn't finishing. And Florida was rebounding. Florida found a way to win. So here's where I think they stand. To get a number 1 seed, I think they got to beat Alabama. I think they got to be, and then of course hold serve at home against Ole Miss. If they win the next 2 games, I think they're a 1 seed no matter what happens in the SEC tournament. If they lose either of the next 2 games, they're either a 2 or a 3 based on what happens in the NCAA tournament. Agree or disagree?
I really think them being a 3 seed is almost getting eliminated. I think there's a chance they could be. I think worst case scenario for Florida now on Selection Sunday, which amazingly is 13 days away. I think the worst case for Florida is that they're the best 3 seed. And that would be basically losing their last 3 games, which I don't think they'll do. But I think their worst case is they would be the strongest 3 seed. So yeah, I think they're probably going to fall into being the first or second 2 seed is where I think it's going to land. But if they win at Alabama, if they beat Ole Miss at home, those are 2. Well, Alabama is a big quad 1 opportunity, and Ole Miss is a solid quad 1. And so if they're able to win those 2, then yeah, losing a neutral site game, you have to figure that they'd have the double bye. They'd be playing Friday. You're probably playing against a team that's on the bubble. So on a neutral site, again, that's a quad 1. So lose that game probably doesn't hurt you very much. So I think they can make a push for a 1. The problem is they're running out of chairs. Auburn's a 1. They're going to be a 1 seed. Duke is going to be a 1 seed.
Right.
Houston is going to be a 1 seed.
That's right.
So
there's only 4.
So basically you've got Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee all jockeying for that last number 1 seed.
And if Florida sweeps this week, notwithstanding what Tennessee does, if Florida sweeps this week, I think they're 1.
I think they'd be the fourth one.
I think that's what happens.
Which would be interesting because that puts you out in San Francisco. So it's good. You're a 1 seed, which is great for your program, but you're playing your regional in San Francisco. So, again, if they beat Alabama, we can have this conversation a little bit more in earnest, if they're able to get that win. But you might kind of start being like, well, do we want to be a 1 in the West? Or would you rather be a 2 in the East with Duke? Because they're not going to be a 2 in the South because that's going to be Auburn. They're not going to put Auburn and Florida in the same regional. So, but you could be a 2 seed in the East where now you're playing your regional at Newark, which would be much easier for your fans to get to and be easier travel-wise for your team. So I still want the 1 because how could you not?
Yeah.
And if you have to go, maybe there's even some kismet there with Golden going to San Francisco,
right.
Where he used to coach, and that's the site of the region, assuming Florida was to get to the second weekend. So there's a little bit of that, but I think that I think they're probably either going to be the last 1 or one of the first 2s paired with Duke or Houston.
And that, to me, is all that's really left to play for in these last 2 regular season games in the tournament, other than momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Momentum
They need
matters.
one of the 2 to clinch the double bye.
Yeah.
So they can be either one, but they need to be either at Alabama or home against Ole Miss to guarantee the double bye.
And lose at Alabama, and I don't think they're going to win that game. They could, but if I had to guess right now, it's hard on the road in the SEC. I know they won at Auburn. Lose at Alabama, win against Ole Miss. Then no matter what happens in the tournament, they haven't lost any momentum because they haven't lost 2 games in a row all year long, and now the only way that could happen is if they lose their last game in the tournament and then lose to a 15 seed, which isn't going to happen. So I don't think they lose, but you lose twice now and don't play well in the tournament, then you've lost a little momentum. It'd be the first time all year they have. So if they don't win, and by the way, if you win this week, if you win Wednesday, you've now swept the state of Alabama. I'm not sure anybody else in the country could have done that this year. You sweep the state of Alabama this year in basketball, pretty amazing stuff.
Without a doubt. And I think they've got a good chance against Alabama. Alabama plays almost like Florida on but more one-dimensional. Offensively, they're incredible. Alabama leads the nation in scoring offense. So they're elite at that. I mean, they are going to play fast. But I think Florida, what makes them unique, and we saw this last year, Florida played very well against Alabama. I think it's going to translate this year as well because Florida can play at that pace. They can play in that kind of a shootout, but they also have the physicality to get those extra possessions that I'm not sure Alabama is accustomed to seeing an opponent be able to do. So Alabama's going to try and blow you off the court. That's what they do. They lead the nation in scoring. Florida, I think, has enough offense where they can have that sizzle, but they also have the meat and potatoes of rebounding, physical defense, things that they can fall back on. So I actually think Florida might go to Alabama and win.
We'll take a break. When we come back, Hays has headlines. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL is your home for Jacksonville University basketball.
It's tournament time at Swisher Gym. ASUN quarterfinals. JU Eastern Kentucky. Tonight at 7 on 1010 AM.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or cater desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Florida homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Universal Roof and Contracting protects your home and your wallet. Invest in a stronger roof and save big. Spend $6,000 and get up to $600 off. $15,000 up to $2,000 off. $20,000 up to $3,000 off. This deal ends March 31st. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Here's Linda Beaver.
At Beaver Chevrolet, we believe your experience should be more than just buying a car. It should be a lifetime of confidence, care, and trust. That's why we're proud to offer lifetime warranties and lifetime customer service. At Beaver Chevrolet, we're not just here to sell you a car. We're here to establish a lifelong relationship that you can always count on. It's simple. You deserve the best and shouldn't settle for less. Visit Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, where we're ready to give you a peace of mind for a lifetime.
Anytime you've got major plumbing problems, and even the minor ones, there's several potential causes, and they usually can't be easily detected. So don't guess at a solution. Hire Roland Reese Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
One thing that separates Beard's Diamonds from those other jewelry stores at the town center, no one's paid on commission.
Nobody at Beard's is on commission. That's more of your corporate stores that pay commission.
Beard's owner, John Lupo, says that means no pressure, no hidden agenda, no extra markups.
And you're getting a better deal. You're not paying the corporate commission. You're not paying the salesperson's commission. If they're paying their salespeople commission, you're starting off in the hole.
And that's why you feel like a number at most jewelry stores, because it's all about making the sale, but not at Beard's.
Because it's a corporate atmosphere and they want to sell you what they want to sell you. We're here to sell you what you want. Our salespeople can do whatever they want to make sure that the customer is happy.
So relax. At Beard's Diamonds, they have all the things you want, like quality education, selection, warranties, and none of the stuff you don't want, like pressure and tacked on commissions.
Nobody's making an extra 5 or 10% on Beard's customers.
Beard's Diamonds, the town center's only locally owned jeweler.
We sell better merchandise, better product for less money, guaranteed.
She's seen and heard all over 1010XL's video and social channels.
Whether the big cats are at the bank or on the road, I'm there too. Follow my updates all season long, on air and online.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Mia O'Brien here for Pro Jacks Roofing. Here at the Superstation, we talk a lot about pros. Pro football, pro baseball, pro basketball, pro sports. But if you want a true pro when it comes to your roof, you should call Mike with Pro Jacks Roofing. Mike's been in the roofing biz for well over 25 years, and when you call, you don't get a recording, you get Mike himself. Find Mike's cell on ProJacksRoofingFL.com. That's ProJacksRoofingFL.com. Don't rely on the third string option. Call in the starter with Mike at Pro Jacks Roofing.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash. so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
We certainly appreciate our friends at Harold & Harold. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, let's start with the Jaguars. The Jaguars, when it comes to the draft, the combine is now a wrap. So could you be talked into an offensive lineman at pick number 5?
No, I couldn't. And again, I really think the draft every year, it's hard for me to talk about any positions until I have a better idea of what they've done or not done in free agency. I think that always affects the draft. So, but even if they do nothing, I still think defensive line is first for me. I think they need an offensive lineman. Again, my gut tells me that's coming through free agency. So, no, I'd have a hard time thinking offensive line. And the LSU kid's a really good player. Will Campbell, but he's a good player. He'd be the one if there was a one. And look, he'd make him more physical and tougher right out of the gate. But like I told you top of the program, I'm locked in on Mekhi Becton.
Yeah.
Go get him and him be a maul because he's a mauler.
Let's get to around the NFL. Cincinnati has tagged receiver T. Higgins for a second time. So Higgins will be staying in Cincinnati at least for another year.
Yeah, and we are in an age now with the way the game's played, star receivers are very important. They're as important as they've ever been. And I can't imagine Cincinnati, which got to a Super Bowl but has now been kind of clunking along. I can't imagine don't let great players walk. I mean, ask the Boston Red Sox, okay? Somehow they decided it was okay to move on from Mookie Betts. I know we're talking about a different sport. The cardinal rule, don't let great players walk. Don't let great players walk. I can't imagine. T. Higgins is a great player. I can't imagine them letting him walk.
Absolutely. The Eagles have cut star cornerback Darius Slay, a 6-time Pro Bowler. The 34-year-old Slay could return to the Eagles possibly this summer. Would you have any interest in Darius Slay?
Now, I asked you the same question. A little old for me. I don't think you go get a 34-year-old cornerback. And you made a point that I hadn't thought about, that this is probably a shuffling the papers around a little bit and rearranging the dollars. But do you think he winds up staying in Philadelphia, which makes sense to me?
The 49ers trade receiver Deebo Samuel to Washington for a 5th-round pick. The deal can't be official until the new league year begins next Wednesday. The 29-year-old Samuel is coming off career lows in scrimmage yards with 806 and touchdowns 4. Did you like the move?
I like it for both. I don't think there's a lot left there. But I think there is a drop-off with the Commanders after Terry McLaurin. I think there's a drop-off in terms of star value. And I think, again, what I just said, when they have a dynamic young quarterback, give him another star. Now, look, Deebo can be a diva. And but yeah, for a 5th pick, why wouldn't you do it if you're the Commanders? And it was obvious the 49ers had moved on. It was pretty obvious they've moved on from him emotionally. And so if you've moved on and they have, why not? And if the Commanders, it's only costing you a 5th, why not?
That's why I think it's a good deal. I mean, I'm with you. I don't think Deebo Samuel makes a tremendous impact there, but for a 5th-round pick, the odds that player is going to turn into something are pretty low, so why not take the chance? Let's get to college football. FSU and Clemson will vote tomorrow to settle all legal disputes with the ACC, according to ESPN. Schools that draw the best ratings will get a substantial financial bump compared to the schools that do not, and it will be easier to leave the grant of rights after 2030. But for now, it seems like this deal is getting done. FSU, Clemson are going to vote for it. The league is going to vote for it. And this saga will be behind us.
Yeah, and let me tell you what I think happened. I'll give you the gist of that story in my opinion. The ACC talked about giving the better-rated football teams more money in an effort to keep Clemson and FSU. Clemson and FSU were intrigued by it, but it wasn't enough. They still thought they needed to get out. So they then tried to get out, and then they looked up, and I'm going to give my friend Matt Hays credit for this, Brett McMurphy as well, but Matt's our teammate. He said all along, the SEC and the Big Ten don't want them. That's no knock on FSU. There's no knock on their heritage. They just believe they're full, and they don't want to add. They want to slice that pie anymore. I think Matt was right all along. He said FSU is going to look up and Clemson and going to say, this sounds good. Those leagues are making way more money than us, but if they don't want us, what are we going to do? I think Matt had sources that told him that there's even people at FSU that admitted that was a gamble. They went all in to leave without knowing if there was any place to go. And I think while in, they realized there was no place to go. I think if the SEC or Big Ten wanted either one of them, they would still keep fighting. They would still be fighting, and they would. Even our friend Irish O'Fell, who knows FSU so well, believed that by next year, 26, they wouldn't be in that league anymore. Well, now they're going to be because the other two didn't want. And again, I want to be careful how I say this. When I say didn't want them, that looks like a shot at the Noles. That's not my point. They didn't want anybody else. Now, would it have been different if it was Notre Dame? Yeah. But I don't know that there's, other than Notre Dame, which the rules are different for Notre Dame. Other than Notre Dame, I don't think there's any program now that could entice the SEC or the Big Ten to slice that pie any bigger. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get into college basketball. Florida defeats visiting Texas A&M 89-70. Will Richard rescued the Gators from stretches of stagnation, scoring 25 points and hitting 6 3-pointers. The Gators also out-rebounded the SEC's best on the glass, 42-37.
I think that was the storyline. Here, the storyline is you knew all along that game was going to be a street fight. It was going to be who's less bloody and who's going to be left standing after the bloodletting, and that was Florida. And, oh, by the way, they made a bunch of shots, which is why they won comfortably, and they needed one guy to take over the shot making, and that's been Will Richard the last 2 games. But, Hayes, I think the storyline of that game is it was going to be a brawl. It was going to be a bloodletting. People were going to lose teeth and be bloody, and whoever was left standing, and it wound up being the Gators.
The win moved UF to 25-4 overall and 12-4 in SEC play, tied with Alabama for second place. The Gators closed the regular season with a road game Wednesday versus the Crimson Tide, followed by the home finale on Saturday versus Ole Miss. Both games are quad 1 opportunities. UF can clinch a double bye in the SEC tournament by winning one of the 2 games. The Gators cannot fall further than 5th in the SEC tournament.
Let me make one other point about that game. I thought Buzz Williams did a really good job with that 3-quarter court press, taking Florida out of its tempo, made Florida walk it up court instead of getting the fast break points. And I think the way Golden countered with all the skip passes, I'm getting too in the weeds here, and I usually don't do that. But I think Buzz Williams is a good coach. I think he turned it into a street fight. When you play 3-quarter court, you slow the other team's offense down, and you make it a half-court game. And I think what's impressive about Florida's win is they still found a way to get shots and make shots when the opposing coach did a good job of taking away their running game. Didn't you sense that? The running game was gone, and they found a way to still win the game. So it was a fun, fabulous game, and you laid it out now. Florida's now well-positioned. Win one of the next 2, and you're going to be just fine.
How about our guy, Rick Pitino, the 72-year-old Rick Pitino, rocking the white suit.
Love the white suit.
Continues the greatest story of the sports regular season this year as St. John's defeats Seton Hall 71-61 to win its first outright Big East championship since 1985. Here is 85. Here is Pitino on CBS after the win.
How did you flip this program so quickly?
I think you build a will to win. You understand that when you lose, Nobody goes to bed with a good mind. So it's that, not fear, but inside you hate losing. That doesn't, the next day you wake up and you get better, but you got to go to sleep at night and say, oh, it's no big deal, it's a loss. We don't feel that way.
Well, how can this team keep getting better between now and Selection Sunday?
Well, we got a week to prepare against a tough Marquette team. We've played 2 subpar teams because I think the weight of the world were on these guys who have never been there before. So I think now this will be a big relief to them. They can relax.
In outright Big East regular season title for the first time since 1985, you said earlier this season you were going to give up drinking. Is that going to hold up tonight?
It held up for one day.
What a story.
What a story is right, Hays. 40 years since the St. John's won the Big East, and the Big East hasn't been as good. It's not like he's losing. If he wins the national championship, it's the greatest it's his greatest coaching job, and that's saying something because he was great at Kentucky and he was great at Louisville. It's his greatest coaching job, and I've got to tell you, it's right up there with any of them. If Butler had won, then maybe that'd be better. If Gonzaga had won it, they were both close, but neither won it. Won't this be as good a job, as big a story in college basketball coaching as there has ever been? It sure would feel that way.
Without a doubt. It's been remarkable. Can't wait to see how this story wraps up, and I hope St. John's makes a deep run.
I do, too.
We are here at JU at Cantina Rio getting ready for tonight's game against Eastern Kentucky as the ASUN Conference Tournament is already well underway. The Dolphins won both regular season meetings, holding Eastern Kentucky to a 35% shooting night on both occasions. JU a 2.5-point favorite tonight, Frank.
Yeah, it's JU's the better team. They've beaten them twice. That makes me nervous. I told you that off the air, that trying to beat someone a third time, that is real. Now, if you're better, you're better. I mean, so, and I think not having Stephon Payne, who's a really good player, he is a 6'9" jumping jack. He's their best inside guy. He's their best rim protector. He's their best rebounder. They have not been the same team without him, and that makes me nervous. But I think JU's going to win and move on. I think JU has got the better of the two teams. They will sweep this team, I believe, and move on.
UNF season is over after losing 90-69 against Austin Peay last night. The Ospreys were outscored 52-24 in the second half, finishing the season 15-17 overall and 8-11 in ASUN conference games.
Yeah, it's been a tough last few years for Matthew Driscoll. It really has. That game was a microcosm of it, Hayes. They were up 10-2 to start the game. 10-2. They were up 31-13 midway through the first half. 18-point lead, and it started frittering away late in the half. And then, as you said, it was a disaster in the second half. I think UNF scored 3 points in the last 6 minutes of the game. Really tough loss for Matthew Driscoll's team. I'm a big Matthew guy, but that was a tough loss and a tough way to end a season that started so great with 2 Power 4 wins, but really didn't end the way they wanted it to.
Let's get to college baseball. The Gators win the series over Miami and Gainesville. UF coach Kevin O'Sullivan now 43-19 versus the Canes.
You can't imagine what an amazing stat that is, because Miami dominated him so much forever until he got there. I'll bet there's not another coach in Florida history's got a winning record against the Canes. Probably bad losing records. 43-19, and I watched that whole series. Miami's pretty good. Miami will be better than you think. Florida's just very good, and Florida was at home. Miami scored 13 runs on them yesterday, so I think both those teams are going to go deep. But it's hard to believe 43-19 winners of 10 of the last 11 series. They play every year. Sully's been there. He's now in his 18th year. They've won 10 of those last 11 series against the Canes. 43-19 is an amazing record.
It really is. Let's get into pop culture. We're going to celebrate This Is Spinal Tap because Sunday marked the 41st anniversary of the comedy's release. Please enjoy this clip.
But it's very, very special because if you can see, the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board. 11, 11,
and most of
11,
the
and then
amps go up to 10.
Exactly.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it? It's not 10. You see, most blokes, be playing at 10. You're on 10 here, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. You're on 10 on your guitar. Where can you go from there? Where?
I don't know.
Nowhere, exactly. What we do is if we need that extra push over the cliff. You know what we do?
Put it up to 11.
11, exactly. One louder.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
These go to 11.
Yeah, I'm telling you, people don't know that movie.
It's so good.
I'm almost
I feel
surprised
sad for those people.
Yeah, I do too. I almost thought you guys might be too young to totally appreciate This Is Spinal Tap. It's magnificent.
Yeah.
It's just magnificent.
It really is. Unbelievable. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. Another fun anniversary. Elton John released Rocket Man on this day back in 1972. The song would rise to number 6 on the Billboard charts. It sold over 5 million copies as a single and has surpassed 1 billion streams on Spotify. Did that last year in 2024. One of the best rock songs ever created.
One of the best ever created. Would this be... It's hard to have an anthem when you're Elton John, but would this be the anthem?
I would think.
The movie was named it.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's why I would
put it over
argue
the top.
Yeah. If the movie has that, you know, it has the song title in it, that's probably your anthem.
Yeah.
Where does he? I've never seen him live. Does he play this last?
Yeah. I've seen him 4 times. Sometimes, not every time.
That's why.
I've also seen him play it in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him play Daniel in the encore. I've seen him play your song, and I've seen him play Goodbye Yellow Brick Road on the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour. So it depends on what tour it was, you know. So, but great work.
Thank you.
What a great song. What a great artist. One of the great artists of all time. The great Elton John. Back to wrap it up from JU after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
With the NFL Combine wrapping up in Indianapolis, Cameron Ward, quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes, is the betting favorite to be the #1 overall pick, which belongs to the Tennessee Titans. Ward at -200. Abdul Carter, linebacker out of Penn State, is at +160. Travis Hunter, who won the Heisman Trophy this past season as a dual threat player from Colorado, +850 to be the #1 pick. Shedeur Sanders, quarterback of the Buffaloes, at +1,000. Jackson Dart of Ole Miss, +6,000 to be the #1 selection. Ward is also the betting favorite to be the first quarterback selected at -700. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Duck Duck Rooter is the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, and we want to help you protect your septic system. Think about this. What would happen to your car if you never changed the oil? Septic systems are no different and should be pumped at least every 3 years. Lack of maintenance is the #1 reason for septic system failure. Call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services today to schedule your pumping.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Pick it here for Bound 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bound 9. Visit Bound 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bound 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Happy New Year from everyone at Nimnik Chevrolet. Now look, as they begin 2025, Nimnik is so excited to offer even more choices and better prices for you, ensuring your car buying experience is second to none. And if you're wondering where to go for a better buying experience, it's simple. Nobody but Nimnik. So here's to another year of driving forward together. And don't forget now, in this new year means new truck time at Nimnik Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnik Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnik. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the distance. It boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor, and ask about a terrific low rate as well. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnik Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
If you never saw Zeppelin live, now you can know what it's like. And if you did, relive the magic of Led Zeppelin live. Get the Let Out is back at Florida Theater March 12th. Get the Let Out. Find out what it felt like to see Zeppelin live. Get tickets now at floridatheater.com.
Mike Dempsey here. Look, it's been 10 years that I've been vouching for my guys at Dandy Boots, and for a decade, I'm proud of my association with a local family business. They make a great product. I've made no secret that I was a customer long before Dandy ever came on board on 1010XL. But I'm thinking I'm due a little Dandy swag, maybe a little love. How about a Dandy t-shirt, a ball cap? So how about it, Thompson family? What do you got going on over there? In the meantime, I'm going to keep eating those delicious tuna salad sandwiches. So guys, keep helping me out and grab a Dandy sandwich today.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hey folks, Hicken here for Zero Res. You're going to want to beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Hey, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Don't forget about your air ducts. Your air ducts sort of like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com. Tell them Dan or 1010XL sent you. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean. Zero Res.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. South State has helped our businesses and charity grow and thrive. Whether you're expanding your operations, managing cash flow, or planning for the future, South State Bank offers forward-thinking, tailored solutions to meet your unique business needs. With expert guidance and best-in-class service, South State is here to help you move your business forward. Visit southstatebank.com or stop by your local branch today. Let South State become your partner in taking your business to the next level. That's South State Bank, member FDIC.
Soccer continues to grow on the First Coast, and so does the need for better coverage. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley
on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour, Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 a.m.
When it's time for new tires, you can count on Big Chief Tire for quality and value. Frank Frangie here. Their expert team will help you quickly find the right fit, ensuring a safe, comfortable ride. With quality options, fair prices, and quick installation, you'll be back on the road in no time. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today to schedule your appointment and roll into 2025 with great confidence. Big Chief Tire keeps Jack rolling.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where we've been today on the program as we wind down, we're live at Cantina Rio here on the JU campus, JU in Eastern Kentucky, first round of the Atlantic Sun Tournament. They get together in just a bit. We've talked about that. Associate head coach Michael Fly, I thought was terrific.
Absolutely.
The show talked about the game, having to play someone for a third time. Is it harder? Who has the psychological advantage? And he talked a lot about his years. Michael Fly was a guy, he was a former head coach at Gulf Coast. Before that, he was on Andy Enfeld's staff at Gulf Coast when the Dunk City thing came around. He's been on the FSU staff. He's been around, this guy, on the Missouri staff. And he was a terrific interview as he talked about JU getting ready to play that. We talked about that today. A lot of basketball talk. We talked Gator basketball. We talked about Jags free agency. We went through sort of a list of free agents. I ran them all by Hays. He didn't want any of them. But we went through a list of free agents that are available, who you like and who you didn't. That's right around the corner, and that's where we've been over the course of the program today. I did like, by the way, when Sean McVay went on the Dan Patrick Show and said that just raved about James Gladstone, said he's the first one that spotted Puka Nacua. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, yeah, I think he's going to be really good.
That'd be great. I mean, yeah, and it's obviously the Rams couldn't speak highly enough about James, and we've obviously got a chance to have a first impression. We're both encouraged by what we see, and they've got, again, it's a healthy situation to inherit because you're not in cap hell at all. You're in pretty decent shape with the cap.
That's correct.
You've got a nucleus of your quarterback, 2 offensive tackles, a number 1 corner, 2 big-time edge players. So your premium positions, you at least aren't looking at a chasm as you take over of who is going to be our guy here. So that's really healthy. And you got 20 picks over the next 2 drafts. So there's a lot to work with here. If James Gladstone is a rising star, then he really has the opportunity from a personnel standpoint, working in conjunction with Liam Cohen, to really elevate this thing quick. And I liked it at the Combine. James Gladstone, when he met with reporters at the podium, said, here's what I can guarantee. The floor of this roster is going to be substantially better next year. And that's what you want. I mean, obviously you want all aspects to be greatly improved, but it's good to see that with the ammunition he knows he has to have that confidence.
No question about it. All right, let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
All right, Ballou, legal tampering's a week from today.
Yeah.
Have you got your free agents lined up? You know who you want?
Yeah, I know who I want, but I'm 0 for 2 with franchise tags with Trey Smith and now T. Higgins. Higgins probably would have been, his priced market probably would have been way out of hand for most teams. But Trey Smith's the guy I wanted most, and of course that's been in for a week and some change. But hey, there are some really good football players available, and my understanding is that we could see more trades this year. It just feels like every day a player has been allowed to explore trade opportunities. It's crystal clear. Teams right now are trying to get rid of big contracts. So I think we're going to see a lot of movement coming up this year before the NFL draft and certainly during the NFL draft.
Can I interest you at all in Mekhi Becton? Can I get you interested in that at all? Right guard.
He's a big guy.
Old Mekhi. Yeah, would you like that?
Yeah, absolutely I would. The only question I would have is the desire after winning it. He's going to get paid now. There's no doubt about it, but he just won himself a championship. I mean, he was considered a bust a few years ago when he was such a high draft pick coming out of Louisville. You look at a guy like Malik Jackson. He wins the Super Bowl. He comes here. He's fired up. He's ready to go. He's a real good teammate. You look at a guy like Julius Thomas, gets paid, and he's an absolute bust. So I've always wondered post-Super Bowl what type of player you're going to get.
Yeah, interesting stuff. No question. What's coming up tonight? What are we doing?
We have got just a ton tonight, Frank and Hays, including, I got to admit, I'm a little saddened. It was a rough Saturday for me. I watched Leonard Hamilton and Florida State lose by 35 points to Duke, and I just said, I'm really going to miss this in the future. Leonard Hamilton rolling out the ball about 20 times a year, just getting completely worked, out-coached, outclassed. What is Florida State going to do post-Lyon?
Now, let me ask you this, though. When you were having that tough Saturday, was that when you had that 24-ounce beer that was on Twitter? Did that help? Did that help at all, or no? That's my question for you on a Monday afternoon.
That reminded me of the old days at AJ's Sports Bar out in Tallahassee. That beer was incredible. And, I thought I was smart yesterday. I had the beach to myself, and it was absolutely freezing with the wind out of Matanzas. So I lasted 1 hour. The GF lasted about 12 minutes. And then we went bar hopping after the fact, so it ended up being a pretty good day.
Sounds like a good plan. Rick Ballou goes into the night. Thank you, Rick.
See you guys.
All right, Rick goes into the night right now. Folks, that'll do it for our program. Do want to remind you, still tickets available. JU versus Eastern Kentucky. They're going to have a good crowd there in Swisher. Hopefully the Dolphins can move along in the A-Sun tournament. We're out of here. Don't go anywhere, though. Rick Ballou goes into the night right now. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.